Maya had always been the calm one in her family. Whenever her younger brother argued, she stayed quiet. Whenever her mother raised her voice, she took a deep breath and walked away. But that evening, something felt different. The weight of the entire day sat on her shoulders like a heavy stone. She had a long shift at work. Her boss scolded her for a mistake she didn't even make. And then she came home only to be met with another argument, this time with her boyfriend, Rayan. Rayan was frustrated too. He had been waiting for her to call him back for hours. And when she finally reached home, he complained that she didn't care about their relationship anymore. Maya tried to explain that she was exhausted, but he didn't listen. Words turned into shouting. Shouting turned into insults. And Maya finally grabbed her car keys with her hands shaking. She wanted to get out of that house, away from that conversation, away from everything. Rayan called after her. "Where are you going?" "Anywhere but here," she snapped, slamming the door behind her. She didn't think about the drive. She didn't think about the road. She didn't think about anything except the anger boiling inside her. She opened the car door, sat down, and shut it harder than necessary. Her breath came out in short bursts, and she could feel her heartbeat pounding in her ears. She jammed the key into the ignition and started the engine, letting it roar louder than usual. It was early evening. The sky was turning a soft orange, and people were returning home from work. The roads were busy but manageable. If she had been in her usual calm state, she would have driven carefully. But today, the smallest things irritated her. The sound of the motorcycle that passed too close, the slow driver in front of her, the red lights that seemed to stop her more than usual. She turned up the radio, hoping loud music would drown her thoughts. It didn't. Every word Rayan had said replayed in her mind. Every word she wished she had said made her grip the steering wheel tighter. She wasn't crying, but she felt like she could at any moment. Her vision stayed clear, but her emotions were anything but. She drove faster than normal. Not dangerously fast, but faster than her usual cautious pace. When someone honked behind her, she honked back even though she wasn't sure why. She changed lanes with frustration instead of patience. She ignored the voice inside her that usually told her to slow down, to breathe, to wait. She thought leaving the house would calm her. Instead, it felt like the world was pushing her further toward the edge. As she drove down a long stretch of road lined with trees, she felt her phone buzz in her pocket. She knew it was Rayan. He always called after arguments, trying to fix things. For a moment, she wanted to pick it up and end the fight. But then another wave of anger hit her, reminding her of everything she was tired of. She didn't answer. Another buzz came. Then another. She tried to ignore them, but each vibration felt like someone tapping her shoulder over and over again when all she wanted was space. "Leave me alone," she muttered, hitting the steering wheel with the heel of her hand. She took a sharp turn, a little faster than she should have, and the car swayed slightly. She steadied it quickly, but her heartbeat jumped. She told herself she was fine. She told herself she was in control. Her phone buzzed again. She made the mistake of glancing down for just a second. Just long enough to see Rayan's name glowing on the screen. Just long enough for her anger to flare up again. When she looked back at the road, she realized too late that the car in front of her had slowed down. Panic rushed through her chest. She slammed the brakes, her hands gripping the wheel so tightly her knuckles turned pale. The tires screeched, the car jerked forward, and Maya's breath got stuck in her throat. She stopped just inches behind the other car. For a moment, everything fell silent. The music, the phone, the cars around her, nothing seemed to exist. She felt reality return in a painful wave. She had almost hit someone. She almost caused an accident. Her legs trembled, and her chest tightened. She pulled over to the side of the road, turned off the engine, and rested her forehead against the steering wheel. Her body shook as the tears finally came. They weren't tears of sadness or anger anymore. They were tears of shock, fear, and relief. But the day was not done teaching her lessons. After 10 minutes, she wiped her face, breathed deeply, and started the car again. She drove slower now, more careful, more aware. Yet her emotions were still heavy. She wanted to go somewhere quiet, somewhere empty, somewhere she could think. So she took a less crowded road that led toward the outskirts of town. The sun had set completely now, and the streetlights created long shadows on the pavement. The road was too quiet. She thought maybe this was better. Maybe this silence would finally calm her. But driving while emotional is unpredictable. Even when she tried to stay focused, her mind kept drifting back to the argument. It replayed like an unfinished movie in her head. She kept wondering if she was wrong, if she had overreacted, if she should have stayed home and talked things out. Her thoughts were louder than the road. As she approached a curve, she realized she was going too fast again, not dangerously fast, but too fast for that particular turn. She took it anyway, assuming she could handle it. But the road was slightly damp, and the tires lost grip for a moment. The car swayed again, this time more violently. Maya gasped, trying to correct the wheel. Her heart felt like it jumped up to her throat. The car didn't spin, but it slid far enough to scare her deeply. She managed to bring it back under control, but now her entire body was shaking. She let out a long, trembling breath. This wasn't just a bad day anymore. It was a warning. She pulled into a quiet parking lot near a small convenience store. The lights outside flickered softly, and no one else was around. She turned off the car and sat there in the silence, listening to the sound of her own breathing. Her phone lit up again. This time she answered. Rayan's voice was worried, not angry. Maya? Where are you? Please talk to me. Her voice cracked. I almost crashed, Rayan. The line went silent. I was so angry. I didn't even realize how I was driving, she whispered. I wasn't thinking. I wasn't myself. I could have hurt someone. I could have. Her voice broke. Rayan spoke softly, carefully. Where are you? I'm coming. No, she said gently. I need a moment. I need to breathe. They talked for a few minutes, not about the argument, not about who was right or wrong, but about what really mattered. About safety, about staying alive, about how emotions can cloud judgment. When she finally drove home, she went slowly, keeping both hands firmly on the wheel. Her heart was calmer. Her mind was clearer. And she realized that the scariest part of the entire experience wasn't the near accident. It was the realization of how easily anger can take control. When she reached home, she didn't slam the door. She walked inside quietly. Rayan rushed to her and hugged her tightly, and she didn't pull away. Neither of them spoke for a moment. They didn't need to. Later that night, as she lay in bed, Maya thought about everything again. She understood now what she hadn't understood earlier. Driving while angry was like driving with blurred vision. Your eyes may see the road, but your mind can't. She had always believed accidents happened to careless people, reckless people, distracted people. She never expected she could be one of them. But anger doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care how careful you usually are. It doesn't care how many rules you follow. When you let anger take the wheel, even for a moment, it takes more than just control of the car. It takes control of your decisions, your reactions, your awareness. Maya promised herself that night that she would never drive angry again. No matter how bad the fight was, no matter how overwhelmed she felt, she would never sit behind the wheel with emotions that clouded her judgment. She learned her lesson not through tragedy, but through a frightening warning. And she knew not everyone was lucky enough to get that second chance. The moral was clear. When you drive angry, you don't just risk your own life, you risk every life around you. Take a moment. Breathe. Calm down. No destination is more important than coming home safely.